Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting, coming to you today with the next session in the Alpha Wolf Personal Development and Expansion series. And this session's all about understanding the self and how the self relates to all that is around the self. So the internal states of being and my external environment. So, an important thing sort of to realize when doing personal development is that it is an internal state of being that we're trying to create a state of change in that will result in changes into our environment through our focus, through our energy, through, you know, how we interact with the environment around us. So it's sort of like we can break it down into the physical, or we can break it down into the metaphysics. But having an understanding of life and the universe and everything that encompasses our existence and our comprehension of our existence is very important because it allows us to then connect with and become a part of what everything is around me. So for me personally, I've been very, very interested in this topic of understanding the universe and how to access the more metaphysical aspects of the universe. And today's talk is going to be on and sort of cover a bit of understandings I've had within Zen and sort of Taoism. So my understandings on Zen and Taoism come from Alan Watts. Alan Watts is who I sort of have had explain Zen and Taoism to me through his understanding or comprehension of it. So it's not a traditional understanding of Zen. I don't claim to have read. I've tried to read the Tao Lachi or whatever it's called, but it's like pulling nails. So for me, it's difficult to understand this concept because it goes against my culture. And for me to understand Tao and Zen, I must be a part of the culture to really understand the finite and intricate aspects of it. And that's where Alan Watts has lived his life while he was alive, really understanding the Eastern aspects of philosophy, of life, of ways of being. So it's very important to understand that in Tao, okay, we are not trying to achieve anything because there's nothing to achieve. The reason there's nothing to achieve is there's no self to achieve it. So should I want to be happier? You know what I mean? I think of it in the context of achievement. If I can, you know, smile more in the day, if I can have better energy, if I can feel better about myself, I will get a result or an outcome that I, the self, am looking for. So when we pull out the self from, the aspect of achievement, and we stop looking at achievement as being the end goal that we seek, but a result of the actions we take. So I can either see it as I work towards my achievement, or I do the work and my achievement is a result of the work I do. So, should I want to be happier in life, I can think about all the ways that if I could do this, this, and this, it would make me happier. Or I could realize in the moment, I wish to be happier and then simply be happier. And you might ask, well, how does this happen? How can we just be happier? If I smile, I am reenacting the psychological aspect and the bio or the physiological aspect of being happy. So if I smile, I release the brain or the biochemicals that make me feel happy, serotonin. Now, we can argue if this is real or if it's not real. The whole point of Tao is it doesn't really matter because none of us exist as we understand and comprehend ourselves to exist. We don't exist absent or separated from life. If I want to be happier, life is happy. So I can just be a part of that life in terms of I can realize I'm a part of life and happiness is a part of life. Therefore, I am already happy. So it's this understanding of the flow or energy of life that in any moment I can alter and shift my energy, and there is no limitations because there is no me to feel limitations. So when we understand there is no me to feel limitations, that's not to say that this physical experience isn't real. It's to say that this physical experience is not based in physicality. So because I eat, breathe, and sleep doesn't make me alive. Like what makes me alive is the energy or the life force or life that gives energy to the environment. If there's no sun, there's no radiation energy, there's no UV energy. Like I can't get vitamin D, I can't get nutrients. There is no nutrients growing. If there is no sun, there is no plants. If there is no, plants and there is no sun, then there is no water, for water would be ice. Like it's in understanding that is a balance in the universe. There is a balance in our planet, our existence as we know it. And this balance is the flow of life. So this balance of energy, because there is the sun, because there is water, because there are plants to create oxygen, I can exist, I can experience. So we're understanding that it's not me dictating the way life has to be or what life has to mean. It's me simply existing in life. So a tree doesn't think I can only grow 7.6 meters this year because Frank over there said that I can't grow more than 8 meters. You know what I mean? A tree grows at its natural potential. It's moving with life. So if there's a lot of rain, if there's a lot of nutrients, it grows more. If there's less nutrients, if there's less water, it grows less. Like it moves at the potential that the environment or the planet or the universe gives it. If there isn't enough sunlight, it grows a bit slower. So like for example with me, if I have food, naturally my physical body will develop. If I have limited food, then my body will develop in a more limited way. It's still developing the same. So should I sit on the sofa and eat fast food and junk food all the time and oversupply food to my body? My body will grow at an exponential rate or a rapid rate. Like time doesn't stop just because I, don't want to be a part of life for right now. I can't skip time if I don't want to do something. So we understand that there's a natural flow of energy through life. And it's in being able to access this natural flow of energy within yourself that we're able to align our frequency and create resonance with the natural flows of life. So, how do we do this? Well, if I want to live a miserable life within myself, I focus on every aspect of life that makes me miserable. And then I align with the miserable energy of life. And in life, so if I always want to have negative events, if I always want to have attract negative people into my life, if I always want to, have people lie, cheat, and steal to me, then I lie, cheat, and steal to myself, and I focus on all of that aspect of life. And my reticular activation gland in the back of my mind will draw me and those situations together. Should I want to have love and happiness in my life, then all I do within myself is focus on love and happiness. And if I focus on love and happiness, I am aligning to that frequency of life, the frequency of love and happiness, because my reticular activation gland identifies that that is something I seek. So it focuses on finding it. So we understand that there are two aspects to sort of the Tao's idea of philosophy of flowing with life. Be like water to an extent. If like unlike water, we have conscious decision. If I identify my environment as being polluted or toxic, I simply, unlike water, pick up my bags and move to another stream. Do you sort of get it? Like I can choose to leave the environment. I'm not dictated to be in the environment. So flowing with life is if my life sucks, I can change it and live a better life. I'm not dictated to, because my life sucks, I have to turn my life around from this environment of toxic pollution. I simply pick up my bags and move somewhere where there's less pollution, where there's less toxicity. So we understand this as being whatever I want in life in terms of who I want to be or what I want to achieve in life. I simply choose, do I want it? What do I want? And then I look at my environment. Am I there? Do I need to change? I fix the internal. When I fix the internal between my thoughts and my emotions, I am aligned towards my goal. When I want something and I think I want it and I know I want it and I feel like I can have it and I feel like I have the capability and the power to achieve it, then all I must do is take action towards it and it will be achieved. There is no future. There is no past. There is only the present. So at a certain point in time of me taking actions, of me moving towards what I want in life or becoming who I want in life to be in life, I achieve it. As soon as I make the decision to take the action, I have achieved everything that I wanted to achieve. It may not result in the physical manifestation of what I want to achieve, but within me, I have achieved it. So, a funny experience I had was around understanding success and understanding or sort of finding my own success. And what happened was I thought about it and I thought about what do I want? Like, what am I chasing in life? And there's a funny reason I don't care about money. Not to say that money doesn't hold value, but it's just what do you use that money for? When I thought about this question, what do I use money for? Like why would I chase money? Like what would money give me? And the funny thing I realized from observing other people who have chased money and achieved it, from chasing money myself, is the money wasn't the end result. The money was a tool to access an emotional state or a feeling within me of satisfaction, contentment, and success and achievement. So if I understand this, that the money itself doesn't matter. What matters is the internal state of being within myself, of feeling like I've achieved my goals, of feeling like I'm successful and have succeeded, of feeling happy, content. Then if in every moment, instead of seeking money, okay, I just seek those feelings and take actions towards those feelings, I have now achieved everything that I've ever wanted. I have bypassed, not to say I have bypassed the need for money, but I have bypassed that emotional attachment to money. Money is a form of energy. Money is a form of attention. We're sort of flowing with it. The more I seek to see the darkness, the more light I see. The more I seek to see the light, the more darkness I see. So it goes on this principle or understanding that the more I forcibly move towards what I think I want, the further away from what I truly want I become. So if my goal personally is to feel successful within myself, then money is a bad route to that goal. Because if I chase the money and I try to utilize the money as the validation to what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing, now the money has control and dictate over my actions. So I'm putting artificial roadblocks in front of me being allowed to feel and experience the sensations that I want to experience within myself. So we understand in Zen and Tao that if I separate the self and I just realize that everything external to me is a reflection of my internal state of being. Should I want to be happy, I choose to feel happy all the time and blissful, regardless of the external environment. And then I become a happy and blissful person in any environment. Does it sort of make sense? So if I take success away from money, okay, and money being my validation for success, should I want to feel successful within me, I can just feel successful within myself. And when I feel successful within myself, well, naturally, I attract money towards me. Naturally, I attract attention towards me. So it's this balance of flow between taking actions towards what we want and sort of attracting everything that we want and need. So it's this flow between sort of like how a conversation goes, where it's like if all I do is talk, then it's a one-sided conversation. It's a flow back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So when we're trying to understand and connect with the energies, it's about taking actions that I feel are the right actions to take within myself, and then sort of letting that action marinate in the environment, in the sort of like whatever space it is you're doing, okay? We're allowing it to mature and sort of planting that seed and allowing it to grow. And then we're attracting through that. So we're putting energy out in an energy transfer. And then we're sort of drawing it back, sort of like putting out a crab pot. We put a crab pot out with bait in it, and we wait and we wait and we wait. And then we pull it in and we see, how did that action do? Was that bait any good? Like, do you sort of understand? It's not that we go, I know the path, push, push, push. It's that we go, I know the path. I'm going to just go for a wander and a walk and sort of see. where the path naturally goes. Alternatively, or not alternatively, but like instead of me going, the path goes north. North is where I'm going. So to understand this in terms of career, you might feel that like your career path is in sales. And you might think, I want to be the best salesperson out there. And you go through the flow of becoming the best salesperson, of learning, of developing, of connecting with other people, of understanding, and you flow through it rather than saying, I'm going to be the best salesperson. This is how it has to look. This is what I'm going to sell. This is how I'm going to sell. Do you sort of understand? We're flowing with it. So when we understand the flow and natural progression of the energy of life, what we are doing is we are shutting off the conscious mind to say, I am not in somewhere in danger. So, for example, if I seek success in life, failure is not an option. Do you know what I mean? For failure, the only way I can fail is to consciously give up. So if I choose that giving up is not a part of the equation, then failure ceases to be an aspect of my achievement, of what I seek. So then I don't seek in the contrast to I'm seeking for something in the hopes not to lose something. So we take out that contrast and now it's just I seek. Where do I seek? What do I seek? How do I seek? Do you sort of get it? Like when I take away that contrast of this having a negative outcome or the possibility for a negative outcome, now I just move into it. How do I want to seek? Do I want to seek through learning? Do I want to seek through communicating? Do I want to seek through experience, through action, through doing? What kind of action would I like to take? How would I like to seek in that action? So we understand that in accessing the flow of life, it's like jumping in a river. The stream goes one way, or the river goes one way, the current goes one way. I don't have to worry about being pulled backwards because I'm in the current of flow. So when I'm in the current of flow, naturally I am moving in a certain direction. So to understand this is to understand that what I want in life, what I seek to achieve, who I seek to become, I see it. So I don't need to know how to get it. I don't need to know like what I'm trying to do. I know what I want to do. So now I let go and I feel. So instead of being dictated by what I think I want, I'm dictated by how things interact with me, how I feel while I'm doing things. Because in feeling, I am accessing and creating this frequency match. So when I feel good about things, it means the frequency that I am putting out there is resonating back to me. And it feels pleasurable. When things feel wrong or they don't feel like they're right for me, something just feels off. That means the frequency that I'm putting out is being is being retransmitted back to me or coming back to me in an altered pitch or tone or frequency. So it means that it's not quite right. So when we understand this, we understand that naturally I can identify what I don't want by just based on feeling. I don't need to know that that's a bad path to walk. I feel it's a bad path to walk. So I'm not going to walk it. And then what we understand is that when it feels right, when I feel like, this is what I want to do, this is how I should move forward, then I lean into it without intention. I don't know how it's going to move forward. I don't know why it's going to move forward, but I know if I take the actions, it will move forward. So, an important thing to understand about this is when we are trying to access the energy flows of life, so to speak, we are not trying to consciously control the energy of life and be like Zeus with the lightning bolt in his hand. We are more like someone in a canoe that doesn't have a paddle. Do you know what I mean? We're just moving down the river with the river, not against the river, not trying to dictate to the river where we should go. We are just simply moving down it. And should this feel like I'm going to go off, let's say a waterfall, then maybe I jump ship and go to the riverbank and jump out of the river for a while. I'm not locked in to the path that I'm on. If the path I'm on feels wrong, I look for what feels right. So I don't need to know the path before I'm on it. I don't need to know where the river goes before I'm on it. Do you sort of understand? Like I can use a bit of common sense, and if I understand there's waterfalls up ahead, maybe I jump ship before I get too close and the current picks up. Do you sort of understand? So these can be seen as turbulent times in our life. If I feel like things and I see in the environment that things are going against me, that relationships are breaking down, well, I don't have to wait until that relationship fully breaks down to leave that relationship. When it ceases to feel like the right relationship for me, that's when I leave. Now, this isn't to say that, we don't put in effort and we don't work towards what we want. It's to say that if something feels wrong, I address it, I look at it, I work on it. If me looking at it and working on it doesn't make me feel better about it, then I know it's not the right move for me. If me working on it and talking to that person, let's say it's a relationship, and I feel like we're back in alignment and we're back on the same page, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? Being on the same page, someone who thinks like you, someone who like thoughts are energy, energy is frequency. People who think like us are on the same frequency as us, the same wavelength, so to speak. Like we have all these euphemisms about this exact thing, but a lot of us don't understand this understanding between the masculine and the feminine, between the push and the pull of life. That, for example, like if I'm able to push myself forward and then pull myself forward, I'm able to move through life. Do you know what I mean? If I'm able to push and pull myself simultaneously, like electromagnetic, like rail guns, do you know what I mean? You've got multiple magnets. The second one pulls, the other pushes, and it creates the sort of equilibrium of the effect of the attraction and repulsion. So that's what we're trying to do in terms of the more I trust in how I feel in the moment, the more information I will get in any moment from my feelings. So to understand this is to understand that consciousness is not created within our mind. Consciousness, like energy, because consciousness is energy. The reason we know consciousness is energy is because what are thoughts, electrical impulses in our mind, or biochemical impulses, like energy transfer, like for our thought to happen, there has to be a biochemical, or I can't think of the word, but biochemical pretty much explains it, but there has to be an alteration between protons, or not protons, but proteins, like other chemicals in our body. I guess that's what we would call it. Who knows? But basically, there has to be an alteration, sort of like how we understand space travel currently. We cannot travel through space without first propelling something or pushing something out the back. For our thoughts to operate, there has to be a generation of energy and then that firing of that energy along a synaptic pathway. So, to understand this is just to understand that consciousness is not formed within the mind. Consciousness is something that's external to the mind. Now, if consciousness is external to the mind, that is the energy that we are like looking to get into, to align with. Do you sort of understand? Like we understand consciousness as energy, therefore all energy is a form of consciousness because consciousness is just energetic transfer. So the second energy is transferred from one thing to another, we could say that's conscious. Now, to the level of consciousness and the complexity of the consciousness, well, if we look at our own brain, it's millions to billions of neurons firing simultaneously to give us this understanding of complex consciousness. So we just have to understand that our brain is not the form in which, or our brain is not the dictator of conscious energy or consciousness. So, what we are trying to do with our thoughts and our emotions and our feelings is connect to the conscious energy that we want in life and attract it to us while moving towards it. So, should I want to be happier in life if I smile more, if I talk positively, if I laugh more, if I tell more jokes, I move towards what I want. Now, if I feel happy about myself and I believe that those actions make me happy, now I'm pulling that energy of happiness to me. So we understand it's the push of embodying and being that person or embodying and being the actions that we want. And then it's that pull of believing that and feeling that we already have what we want or what we seek in life. So when we understand this, we understand that should I want to become my ideal self in life, all I must do is be or take the actions or embody the aspects of life that I want to be in life or who I want to be, and then believe and feel as if each of those activities are already giving me everything that I want in life. Because what I seek is internal to me, not external to me. I don't seek to look happier in life. I seek to feel happier in life. I don't seek to look healthier in life. I seek to feel healthier in life. So we understand that it's the internal. And when we get the actions aligned with the internal, then we create harmony or a synchronicity between what I think and feel and what I do. And this is how we merge, so to speak, our sort of imaginary or our metaphysical aspect of consciousness and thought and our physical or real world or environment. So when we think about if I want to manifest success, well, I take the actions that I deem as being successful, and then I think and feel and believe that those actions make me successful, and then I allow myself to feel it. So when I allow myself to feel it, if we take happiness, for example, if I allow myself to feel happy, am I not happy? Have I not achieved what I've set out to achieve? Like I could argue that, well, my life hasn't changed. Does that really matter? Like, do I have to have external changes before I internally validate? Or do I need to have internal changes before I internally validate? If I believe I'm happy and then I feel happy, that's an internal change. Therefore, it's validated. Doesn't matter if anything's happened in the external. So when we understand this, okay, it's that in any moment in life, whatever I want, as soon as I see what I want, so let's say I wanted to be like, for example, we'll take this program or this series. Okay. I want to run a series like this. Do you know what I mean? So like I see it as being my path to success or what I seek in life. So if I take the actions towards it, and then I believe within myself that these actions fulfill me because I'm doing what I want to do in life. Now I'm feeling fulfilled and successful. Am I not fulfilled and successful? I am doing what I want to do and I am feeling what I want to feel. Therefore, I have achieved everything I've set out for. It doesn't matter if external validation comes. It doesn't matter if I have money to show for it. That's irrelevant. Do you sort of understand? Because the shift and change I'm looking for ultimately is within me. So if I seek financial freedom, I'm seeking that financial contentment that I can feel safe, that I can feel like at peace, where I don't have to focus on drawing in money towards me into finding different actions that lead towards money. So we reverse engineer the aspect of money and how it feels the best to attract towards us. Do we attract money through attention? Do we attract money through action? Do we attract money through, you know, I don't know if there's any more to attract it through, but basically, if I attract it through attention, then how do I maximize my attention to ultimately maximize my money or my financial returns? So understanding this is just understanding that money and action, money and attention, money and whatever the thing you want it to be associated to are a symbiotic relationship. If I take that action, if I get that attention, the money is a byproduct. So now I'm not looking to try and find money and hold and grasp it. Now I'm looking at the flow of money, at the flow or the energy of money, and I'm looking to divert it to me or attract it to me. And this is really important because, like, we can look at it in the physical sense or we can look at it in the metaphysical sense. It doesn't really matter because they're interchangeable because they are one and the same. The physical reality and the metaphysical reality are the same reality. It's just they're different ways of expressing what I can see, touch, and feel, and what I can, feel. What like the energetic shifts. When I walk into a certain room, I might have a certain level of energy. So, like, if I walk into a party and everyone's happy and they're high energy, I will feel that energy. Now, that's not a physical thing in terms of like, I can argue that I'm physically feeling the energy, but can you go there and measure the energy? Do you sort of get it? Like, the physical aspect is where we want undeniable proof of measurement. So, metaphysical or metaphysics is everything that we can't physically measure. So, for example, love is metaphysical, it's not physical. If you can go out there with a Geiger counter or some form of measurement tool and pick up how much someone loves you, like you're a billionaire. Do you know what I mean? Because then you just make the dating radar and you measure the energetic exchange when two people meet. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really work like that. Like you could, but we don't understand it like that. So we put it in metaphysics. So when we understand this, that there are two ways I can look at anything I do. And this is what Tao and Zen understand, is I can look at what I'm doing in terms of the physical reality, that for me to get money, I have to sell a product. I have to do this. There has to be a transaction. There has to be an exchange. Or we can look at it at the metaphysical aspect or level, where it's sort of like, if I want to get money, then all I must do is understand what money is. And everything is energy and consciousness and frequency. They are three ways to describe the same thing. Do you sort of get it? Like consciousness. What is consciousness? It's a frequency. What is energy? A frequency. What is a frequency? A frequency. So we're understanding that there are just three different ways of us comprehending and understanding the same sort of thing in different sort of context. When I think about frequency in terms of consciousness, I might think about the frequency in terms of thoughts, in terms of expression, expressing my internal states of thought, my internal states of emotion. I might see energy as a form of frequency. And then it's the measurement of the movement of the energy that determines. So, how fast it moves, how powerful it moves, like how much energy is in each parcel of energy. Is it a large amount in a small parcel? Is it a small amount in a large parcel? So, like when we think about band waves, are they slow and long, or so to speak, slow and like, deep, or are they short and sharp? Do you sort of get it? So, what we are trying to do when we are trying to connect in with the energy or the flow of energy in life is we are trying to figure out, are my thoughts and feelings long and slow, or are they short, sharp, and fast? And then I'm moving into that energy. So, like, for example, we can take it when we look at entrepreneurs and when we look at, these people who succeed wildly in life. Some of them take many thousands of small actions. Some of them take long, slow actions. Do you sort of get it? They take few but very precise ones. An easy way to see this is Warren Buffett versus someone like Elon Musk. Okay, Warren Buffett is taking very slow, long movements. He's in with the energy of life in terms of understanding that his flow goes a little bit slower, takes a little bit more time, whereas Elon Musk is moving at such a rapid rate. He's taking many different decisions, many different actions because he's in the energy of flow state, of movement. In terms of the energy that he's in is high, like high frequency energy. Warren Buffett's in a low frequency energy. Do you sort of get it? It's the same energy. It's just at different frequencies. So sometimes we want to move fast in life, sometimes we want to move slow in life. It's not that we're altering and shifting and changing the energy of life. We're just tapping into a different stream, a different river. Do you sort of get it? Like the river's going the same way. Time moves the same way. Life or the universe moves the same way. Like that's the thing. It's just where do we align into it? If I'm in high energy frequency, but I'm trying to take long, slow actions, it's not going to work. Do you sort of get it? Because it's disjointed, disconnected. It's not in alignment. There's no resonance. So every time I go to take an action, it's taken me 10 times what the frequency requires me to take an action in. And I'm missing the boat every time I take an action. So when we find that our actions aren't getting the outcomes that we want, we have to look at, like, how are we taking those actions? How are we taking those, or aligning to those different frequencies in life? Am I trying to come into, let's say, um, like what's the word? But let's say we're coming into an industry like AI and AI technology, and we're trying to use frameworks of understanding from, let's say, like fossil fuel industries, let's say the oil industry. Like, it's two completely different ways of thinking. It's two completely dynamic and different environments. So we got to understand we can mold the environment to how we want. We can flow through the environment how we want. We don't dictate the environment. So when I mold the environment, it's that I become the rock in the river, that the water flows around me. Do you sort of get it? Like, I can make myself, like, to an extent. So I can I can alter the flow by just being, so to speak, ignorant. So, like, for example, with how I personally do content. I do content. I don't know if it's different or the same. I don't really care if it's different or the same. I do content how I do content. And I could give a fuck if doing content a different way is going to get me results quicker. Do you sort of get it? Like, I'm molding the flow to how I want it to be, and I don't really care if it takes me longer to get there. So that is how we alter the energy of flow of life, is by dictating. Okay, but I don't get to dictate and then say, but why didn't it work quicker? It's sort of like, when we're moving with it, there is no time. When it happens, it is meant to happen. When it happens, that is the ideal spot. Should it happen today? It's happened today. Should it happen tomorrow? It's meant to happen tomorrow. Should it happen in 24 years? It's meant to happen in 24 years. Like, while we are waiting for it to sort of happen, so to speak, what we are doing is building the resources, building the understandings. Because, for example, it's a bit contradictory, but if we take the exact same analogy of the way in which I do content, should I ever choose to let go and do content how the flow state wants me to? I am in the flow. So we just got to understand the only resistance in life, and this is what Zen and Taoism understands, is the only resistance in life is us. So the only thing that resists me from having and being and getting anything that I want in life is myself, and my unwillingness to let go and go with the flow. And it's an important thing, because there is no right or wrong way. Should I hold on to how I want it to be? Should I let go to how it just is and will be? There is no right or wrong. Whichever path you take is the destined path for you. Both paths lead to the same destination because they're both in the same river flowing the same direction. Do you sort of get it? Like, should I try and regress backwards? then I am just going further upstream to come back downstream. So if I'm moving forward, if I'm standing still, if I'm moving forward at a centimeter a year, it doesn't really matter because time is just perception. If something should take 1 week, if something should take 10 weeks, if something should happen now, if something should happen in a year, who knows? Because we don't dictate the flow of the energy. We don't dictate the flow of our lives, so to speak. To dictate the flow of our lives, we have to have the realization and revolution that we are not separate from the flow of life. We are the flow of life. So, to put this in an analogy, if I see myself separate from the flow of life and the flow of life is a river, I am someone in a canoe or a boat on the river. When I understand that the flow of life is me and that I am the flow of life, that is understanding that I am not separate from the river. I am the river. I am not this human, this person, this identity of self. I am the energy, the river that flows. Do you sort of get it? Like, does it make sense? When I understand that I am the flowing river of whatever I want in life, should I want to be successful, I am successful with or without actions, for I am the energy of success. Does that make sense? So when we understand this, this is the point in time where we can choose and be and have everything. There are no limitations because energy doesn't understand limitations. Now, an electrician might argue that there's a limitation over energy over distance, maybe. But this kind of energy is sort of like saying there's a limitation to, the speed of light. Like light can travel for eternity. It may take 2 billion years for it to travel across the universe, but like it can keep going. Do you sort of understand? Like there's nothing limiting it. So when we understand that I am the one point of limitation in what I seek in life, as soon as I stand out of my own way and let life flow through me, as if that life is me and I am it. Do you sort of understand? So should I walk on the grass? I am not separate from the grass. I am the grass. Should I walk past a tree? I am not separate from the tree. I am the tree. The tree is me. Should I speak to someone else? I am not speaking to someone else. I am speaking to me. Should I want to do something else? I am not doing something else. I'm doing me. Do you sort of get it? Like there is no separation between the external and the internal. It is simply a mirror. The internal state of being within myself and my harmony to what I want. So if I say I like fruit and I eat fruit, I feel good. I'm in alignment. Should I say I like fruit, but I refuse to eat fruit? I am always creating this block in between me and my alignment. So we just understand when I align what feels good to me and I align what I think feels good to me, i.e., when I go out there and I do, and I'm in the flow of life, I find the life I've always dreamed of living. I do not create the life I dream of living before I'm in the flow, for I do not know. Does this make sense? So when we're flowing through life and finding what means something to me, what makes me feel good about myself, what makes me feel happy, what can I do, and what am I willing to do and just do without need for money, without need for recognition, without need for validation. I just do. For I am not trying to control the energy of life. I am in the energy of life. And the energy of life doesn't really care about anything but the transference of energy, the movement, the change of states, the change of being. This is to be in flow with life. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.